Hello and welcome to the Diski preview show. We know that we've been missing for a couple of Fridays, but we're back for this Friday in particular. It's myself and Mr. E as usual, and we've got a little bit of some business to do at the end of the season. I feel like we're literally at the end of the season. McAllister is now a Liverpool player.
Yeah.
News came out this morning that Lionel Messi is now a player of Inter Milan.
Let me tell you, I just wanted to bring this. Hello, viewers. Sorry. One interesting thing. Everybody thought maybe you would go to Saudi Arabia.
Yes, everybody
but
thought
now
he was going
there
there.
is a big issue with him. Remember the issue of alcohol. He drinks alcohol.
Oh,
Right?
yes.
So it
yes,
wasn't going to be easy. And then Saudi Arabia, there's these rules and laws that they have.
Yeah.
So it wasn't going to be easy for him to adjust. But for Ronaldo, it was easy because he doesn't take
Yeah,
alcohol.
he doesn't even drink Coke.
He doesn't even smoke.
Yeah, he
you
doesn't
know?
even drink Coke.
Yes,
I mean, you have to say, he doesn't even drink
I know
Coca-Cola.
Messi likes his cigars. Eh?
Yeah. You didn't hear it here first. Let's get right into the show. We have 3 matches to talk about, and the first of which obviously has to be the elephant in the room, the match of matches. Obviously, the match involving Pep Guardiola and his opposite number, Inzaghi. Let's go see how that one unfolds. Welcome back to the Diski preview show. Let's get it going with some very big news. Obviously, you've been watching the Uefa Champions League the whole season. And just to give you an idea of how we got to this point, in the quarterfinals, Chelsea faced Real Madrid, Man City faced Bayern Munich, AC faced Napoli, and Benfica faced Inter. And then from those 8 teams, 4 went through, which was Real Madrid, Man City, AC, and Inter. And then from those semifinals, Man City and Inter are the only 2 teams that went through. So that's how we got to this point, Inter versus Man City. And for Man City, it's the second Champions League final in 3 seasons actually.
3 seasons, yeah.
And Pep Guardiola at this time obviously coming into the game as the favorite. I mean, the previous time he came into the game as the favorite. Chelsea were not the favorites, but Chelsea managed to win it. So what are your thoughts ahead of this game?
It's going to be a big affair in Istanbul, man.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think that the miracle of Istanbul will happen again?
I think so. You mean the one of Liverpool?
Yes, because if you
the
remember, in principle, it was an English side versus an Italian side. And what happened was the English side went 3 goals down, and they came back from 3 goals down. So Istanbul is the venue. We have an English side, we have an Italian side. The question is, Man City, who are the favorites and possibly the best team in the world right now, will they see a renaissance from their opponents, Inter Milan?
You know, at the back of my mind, I'm saying, you know, in what? I think Man City might not be able to take this one.
Hey,
Yeah, I can tell you that. You know. Just to go against what everybody's saying, I know all the pointers are showing that Man City winning this game. But knowing Inzaghi and his formation, the 3-5-2 formation, I think the only way that you can beat Man City is to try and stop their attack. That's it. Done and dusted.
I mean, if you think about it, I mean, someone just switched off the feed just now because of what you said. They're like,
these guys, what are they saying?
But let's get back to the real conversation here. I mean, first of all, 66 win probability in favor of Manchester City with 20% in favor of the draw and 14% in favor of the win. I know what you're thinking. It can't be ending the draw. But what we basically mean is over 90 minutes. And Inter Milan have the better form. They have 86% form currently, with Manchester City sitting on 71% form. Now, these 2 teams have only met twice in their history, and both those meetings ended in a win for either team. So, Man City have won once against Inter. Inter has won once against Manchester City. In the total game, there's only been 6 goals between these 2 sides, and both teams walked away with 3 goals each. So, not much when you look at the history between these 2 sides to say that it will actually tear them apart. But one thing I will say, they met in a club friendly. It ended 3-0 in favor of Inter Milan. That was back in 2010. Then in 2011, they met again. And Man City won that game by 3-0. They have never met in a competitive match. They only met in the Dublin Super Cup, and they met in the club friendly. So this is their first competitive meeting, and it happens to be in the Champions League final.
Yeah. You know, one highlight is that if there's any defense that can stop the citizens, it's Inter Milan. Because they went on, in their 6 games in the Champions League, I think they kept about 6 clean sheets.
Really?
Yeah, yes. And I know Simone Inzaghi is one defensive coach, so he's going to set up his defensive structure in such a way that he's able to stop the likes of Haaland and everybody else. I'm aware that in Manchester City, goals can come from everyone, but once they face a defensive block, the way what's his name Inzaghi does set it up, I think it's going to be difficult for them to get a game. So Inter Milan has got a chance in taking this one. Already they've done it 3 times. They've already done it 3 times. So why not this time around? So if you want money, if you want a big bet, if you want to make some money, quick buck,
yeah,
you've got 1,000 rand somewhere kept. You can put it for, you can bet on Inter Milan taking this one.
I mean, I have to ask you the question. I mean, the last time they were here, Inter Milan, and they won this coveted trophy, they were playing under the tutelage of Roma's current coach, which is Jose Mourinho, who lost the final just now. So now I'm leading to this question. Fiorentina lost last night against on Wednesday night against an English team in the final, and then in the finals of the Europa League, Roma lost to Sevilla, and this is the last team which is Italian, which is in the final. What do you think that does to their confidence? I mean, they're looking at the two tournaments below them, and they're seeing that Italian sides have all lost.
I think it gives them a lot of pressure because they are now carrying the hopes of all the Italians there. And one thing that I like about the Italian Federation is that every time one of their team, if it's playing an international game, they support them. So I know that there's going to be a very, very big support, or rather supporting fans for them in Istanbul come over the weekend. But I know Pep Guardiola is one man who's done it before. I think he's done it with Barcelona. He had a treble with Bayern Munich, and if he goes on to win this one, he's going to be the first person to win a treble with two different teams. Of course. It's quite a big motivation for him. He's going to want to take this one, but it's not going to be an easy stroll in the park.
Now, just a flash from the past before we get too ahead of ourselves. In 2009-2010 season, Inter Milan were in the final of the Uefa Champions League. How they got there is that they knocked out Barcelona in the semi-finals, and then they knocked out CSKA Moscow in the quarterfinals. For Bayern Munich, they had to knock out Manchester United and Lyon from France. And Mr. E, I'm taking you back in time because looking back at this match, I mean, this was a very defensive base. The identity for this team was very defensive. It was hard to break them down. It was hard to actually get a goal against them. And do you think that looking at that team of 09 and 2010 and look at the team that's on the field right now, do you think that those parallels still exist?
They do. As I mentioned earlier on, that the structure that will be deployed by Inzaghi, it's a 3-5-2 formation. That's the one that he likes, whereby he's got wing backs that are always coming back. I mean, to help in their defensive line and attacking at the same time. You see, and it's not easy to break that structure because at any given time, or your front line can be swamped by the defensive personnel. So it's not gonna be easy for the attack force of the citizens to break them down. And that's what has made them come this far. As I mentioned earlier on, that they had like 6 clean sheets. So they're not easy to break down, but at the same time they've got a potent strike force in Lukaku. You see, so it's not going to be an easy pick for Manchester City. We can't talk about Manchester United.
All right, let's get ready to go watch that game. It's taking place on Saturday at about 9 p.m. Stay tuned to that one. And you can, if you don't have a place to watch it, go to a Bedford store near you. If you are in South Africa, if you are in the UK, the same still applies. If you're in the United States, the same still applies. But here in South Africa, if you don't have and you're scared of load shedding, you're just like, I don't have DSTV subscription and I got load shedding might hit, go to a Bedford store near you and go watch the game live. It'll be at 9 p.m. so maybe you watch the highlights on Sunday live. But that's where we leave it for now. We're gonna get ready to talk about the other big final which is taking place in African shores. Welcome back to the Diski preview show. Obviously, we just talked about the Uefa Champions League. We didn't give you our prediction because we wanted you to stay tuned, and now that we're here, Mr. A, do you mind giving them the prediction?
Yeah, definitely. I'll go with Inter Milan. Without a doubt.
No questions asked. Welcome back to the show. Let's carry on and see what's happening elsewhere. We go back to the African continent where we're going to be talking about the CAF Champions League Final that's taking place at 9 p.m. at the Stade Mohammed V. Now, Mr. E, very interesting. Al Ahly Stadium, 2-1 to Al Ahly. And now away from home in Morocco. What do you think the result will be? Obviously, right now, Al Ahly are leading the tie. But unlike Europe, it's Africa here. 2 legs in the final.
I think the biggest problem that Al Ahly is facing right now is that they let Wydad score right in, close to the end of the match. So currently, Wydad just needs only to score 1 goal and not concede, and then they'll be able to take the championship. But Al Ahly does look like they'll be able to take this one here. We've seen a resurgent who I think has been sensational of late. I mean, he's been scoring very important goals. So, I think Al Ahly does stand a chance to beat Wydad.
Well, Mr. E, let's talk about this game that's coming up. Obviously, you just gave us context, and you just said who you think might beat who. But I just want to understand. I mean, looking back at this season's CAF Champions League, obviously it was a lot of thrill spills, and no one. I mean, I didn't think that Mamelodi Sundowns would be missing from this fixture. But the reality is no Mamelodi Sundowns in this fixture, and we didn't get a chance to talk about this before the first leg of the game. So I'm going to ask you this question in retrospect. What do you think of this final pairing? I mean, both these teams were off at the start of the season, going to play in the FIFA Club World Cup. I remember the CAF Champions League started without these two teams, and they were in absentia. But what do you think it says about African football now that we get to the final, and both the teams that were playing in the FIFA Club World Cup, who started the campaign late, are now in the final?
Yeah, this shows that experience is very important, so to speak, because you look at a club like Ahly, they've won this championship like 10 times. They're now guiding for the 11th star. Have you ever seen their jersey?
Yeah,
it's got 5 at the top and 5 at the bottom, while others are still looking at the star in the sky. But that's for another day. Yeah, so that's Ahly for you. They've been phenomenal over the past years.
That's very personal, eh?
Yeah, you know, a little bit personal, you know. But they've been doing very well. That's Ahly, and you know, you've got Wydad. They're the holders of the trophy right now. So it does show that African football is growing. But the fact that we're missing Mamelodi Sundowns there, I think we should have had it. I think it would have been an icing on the top. Yeah, if we had a team outside east or North Africa. Yeah, especially Sundowns representing Southern Africa. Yeah. Yeah, but I think the other person that I need to mention is Pesitao. He's gone on to fight all the injuries. You know, he was dogged by a lot of injuries, and there was talks that he wasn't going to last at Ahly after the departure of Pitso Msimane.
But he's made it his home.
Yeah, but he's shown class and character, man. He's come back, and he's been scoring very important goals. And
you know, Mr. E, that shows that Pessi was hungry. I mean, when you think about how he left Europe, when he was at Brighton Hove Albion, he had played at Club Brugge. He went to Brighton Hove Albion, and when he was supposed to make his breakthrough, wasn't coming. So he ended up, Pitso said, come home, let me see what I can do with you here at Ahly. Pitso leaves, and then the new coach can say, this is now my right hand
this
man.
Is my this is my man. Yeah, definitely, because you know, he's shown character. I mean, nobody doubts his abilities as a player. I mean, we've seen him, and the goal scorer. We saw how he used to score goals when he was still at Mamelodi Sundowns. He went to Brighton, feeling things didn't work out, but there he is right now. I mean, the coach is looking forward to him scoring over the weekend so that they can beat Wydad, and what a way to cap the season if he scores and they going to win the championship.
Exactly, Mr. E. I mean, Pesitao has made the country proud. And to think about it, he's only 29 years old, so we could still see some good years coming out of his football.
Yeah, another 2 or 3 years. I think he's still in good shape. Yeah.
I just wanted to look at how many goals he scored in the CAF Champions League this season. I see he also has stats from the Europa League from his time in Europe.
Yeah.
But in the CAF Champions League this season, 5 matches played, and a total of, this must be, the stats are wrong. We'll look at it, we'll come back to it. Maybe I looked at the wrong year. Oh yeah, I looked at the wrong year. I said 2019 too.
Yeah.
See now. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Mr. E, let's wrap it up. What's your prediction for Wydad versus Ahly?
I will have to give this one here to the current champions. Wydad. They're taking this one, but Pesitao is going to score.
All right, Mr. A is giving it to Wydad Casablanca. So we'll deal with that later. For now, stay tuned as we take it a little bit more local and bring it down to South Africa. Welcome back to the Diski Preview Show. Myself and Mr. E are having some tea and talking all things football. And we continue the conversation, obviously, by bringing it a little bit more local. We started off in Europe with the Uefa Champions League. We did the CAF Champions League. And now we're back in our backyards, and we're going to talk about the relegation playoffs in the DStv Premiership. Obviously, only one team can stay up.
Yeah.
You know, from the 2 relegation spots. What is an automatic spot? You go down, you go down.
Yeah.
The other one, you know, is we can discuss this over some playoffs. But we all know, Mr. In South Africa, if you don't want to be relegated, your checkbook must say it, not your football.
No, definitely. You see, the problem with Maritzburg, I think they've had issues of sponsorship. But I know right now there is a gift of the givers. I think they're giving them a little bit of sponsorship here and there, but it's not enough. It's not enough. You're gonna have a big purse. I mean, for you to compete. Maritzburg is a very big team. I know they used to be coached by the likes of Trotmuloto back in the day. Steve Compella used to be there, Clive Barker. But right now the problem is the finance and the sponsorship. Now they can't woo any big players, even the big coaches. Hence they've got Fadu Davids. I mean, Fadu Davids is not. I mean, his coaching CV is not as big as all the other
coaches available
in the market. But the reason he's there is because they can't afford anybody else. Yet they find themselves in this situation of trying to fight to fight off relegation. Which looks imminent right now. We're looking at the games that have been played so far, whereby Cape Town Spurs has won all 3. They had 9 points, and the Maritzburg is trailing. I think it's at 6 points or somewhere there. So it doesn't look pretty for Maritzburg at this moment in time.
It's far from pretty. I mean, at this point in time, if you look at the playoff standings, Cape Town Spurs are sitting on 9 points, while Maritzburg United are sitting on 3 points. Casric Stars are now sitting on 0 at this moment in time. Casric Stars and Cape Town Spurs have played all 3 of their matches, with Maritzburg United still having to play one more game. Obviously, it's a round-robin situation before it gets into a final kind of situation. But when all of this started, did you have hope for Maritzburg United, or was it really just a matter of we can't fix this?
I did have hope for Maritzburg. I mean, this is one team that has been in the DSTV Premiership for a very long time, and seeing it being relegated in this fashion, it's not a good thing, man. But at the same time, on the flip side of the coin, you've got what's his name? Sean Barton. Is it Sean Barton? The coach or the guy at Cape Town Spurs. I think he's done a very good job at Cape Town Spurs. That's why they find themselves here. And if they are to be promoted, I think that will be a very good thing. So right now, Maritzburg is the one that seems to be fighting against Cape Town Spurs. But for Casric, we can write them off right now. It doesn't look like they'll be able to qualify, or rather to be promoted, unless if they win all the other games, and Ajax and Maritzburg lose all their games, of which it's impossible because they are playing each other. If Maritzburg loses, that means Cape Town Spurs is the one that wins. So they find themselves in a very difficult situation. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, for me, the argument is very simple. Why don't we just get 20 teams in the league?
Maybe it's an issue that's got to do with sponsorship.
I think it has to do also with the calendar. I mean, Champions League is quite a big tournament.
And yet again, maybe why didn't we plan on getting 20 teams last year? Because there are some teams that were relegated. You see, so it's going to cause a little bit of confusion, and there are some camps that won't see that as a nice thing. Yeah.
Well, Mr. E, that's what we're going to leave it for today. But before we go, what is your prediction for this game? It's quite a not a big way to end the conversation, but quite a small way to end the conversation, because we all know the fate of the teams. But what do you think will happen between Maritzburg United and Casric Stars?
I think Maritzburg will be able to pull this one and get all the 3 points in the mini league to try and keep up with Cape Town Spurs.
But it looks like their fate is sealed.
Nah, it looks like their fate is sealed.
And to think that they only made it here, to think that they only made it here based on goal difference. One goal, just one goal. And looking at and talking about one goal, Cape Town Spurs just needs 1 point. Because they are now sitting on 9 points. If they get the 10th point, then that's unassailable. There's no any other team within the mini league that can get to 10 points. The most that Maritzburg can do thereafter, since they are left with about 2 games, right? Yeah, is to win those 2 games and end at 9. So right now it's Ajax. It's Cape Town Spurs that just needs 1 point from the remaining matches. Then they might join. It's a simple draw.
Yeah, they will join Polokwane City in the DSTV Premiership.
Well, that's what we leave it for today. Thank you so much for watching the Diski preview show, and make sure to visit betfred.co.za for more information on our latest specials, our latest promos, and also on our latest games and markets. If you also like to visit one of our branches, make sure to do so. If you don't have a place to watch this game, Casric Stars vs Maritzburg United, you can find a Betfred branch in Tembisa, in Sebokeng, in Soweto, in Vereeniging, in Soshanguve, in Kimberley, depending on where you Klerksdorp, Mafikeng, Rustenburg. We are all over the country. Make sure that you find a Betfred branch near you to go watch this game. For myself and Mr. E, cheers, goodbye.
Cheers.